Hello, I am completely new at this, so bear with me. I have to copy and send a link or something. I invited a guest. How do I invite guests? Bear with me. Can I leave the actual link? Let me try. Oh, there's a link up here. Let me copy and paste. Let's see if it works. What happens if I click on this? Okay. Alright, I think I got it. Hello?
Hey.
Hey! How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Keith?
Surprised I actually got this up and running. I'm not very tech savvy.
Well, I think you can actually click the link on top. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, look.
Yeah.
And then
I was able to do that. It's on the Prognosticator site right now. So if anyone wants to join, all I have to do is sign in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's how I did it. Actually, I did the.
Yep.
I hit the sign in thing. You want to wait a couple of minutes to see if some of the other guys will pop in? I'm sure Poet will join us.
Yep.
I think Hatbox might have finished his video, so he's probably going to drop by.
His AFC South video, yeah, it's up on the channel right now. He should be ready or so, coming up. And my buddy Bill, I'm just waiting for him to get back to me, but he's very knowledgeable on football, and he said he would like to join if that's fine with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I'm just waiting for his reply back. He usually replies to me pretty quickly, but he'll get back to me. But all right. So, how do you think the season's going to play out? It's a pretty broad question, but
the injuries are starting to hit. My two dark horses in the AFC are the Bengals and Kansas City, and I still like Arizona despite the injuries. And Green Bay is going to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They should have actually won the last two Super Bowls had double douche there not been injured. So,
Poetic Kid just messaged. He said he's going to try and sign in. So Poetic Kid probably will be joining us here in the next couple minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what's his face? The receiver catches that onside kick. Green Bay's in the Super Bowl.
Oh, for sure.
That easy. I mean,
if Rodgers didn't have that bum leg, he would have probably ran in a couple of those touchdowns instead of field goals. You know, I'm so busy. I have so many video ideas I want to do. One of the things I want to do is a video showing why teams won't win. And one of the things that I've noticed that just historically, and you can't say, well, that's stupid. You can almost say that, but historically, teams don't repeat anymore. Although, ironically, New England was the last team that repeated, and Seattle came a yard away. But teams don't repeat. But whatever happens, they just don't. And even worse, teams that win a Super Bowl 2 years later, almost never win. I think it's happened twice.
Yeah,
And
it has.
it's one of those things that it just doesn't happen.
You know what I think though? I think it's possible. Gavin just messaged on Facebook, but what I think is that a couple years ago, the Steelers had a similar situation where their star quarterback was out for the first 4 games and went to the Super Bowl. Now, they didn't go to the Super Bowl the year before that happened, but if any team can surprise the league, it can be New England. As much as we may dislike their ways, they can still get it done. So even if they don't have Tom Brady for the first 4 games, as tough as the division is, it's almost hard to see them not still making the playoffs.
Well, with him not being there, I mean, they're going to have to win at least 10 games to get in.
Yep, I was going to say 10.
I think Miami is going to win that division if he gets the full 4. Yeah, if he gets the 4 game suspension, you know, they're going to have to win games like that week 1, that Pittsburgh game. They're probably going to lose that game.
Yeah.
I've already bet heavy money on it on my book. I have an account with Bet365. And I made a bunch of bets already. And I think Bet365 might actually pull it because they have a clause that says, well, it's something, you know, and it works both ways. Like had I bet on New England, I would have got my money back. But the thing is, New England's worst loss in the Bill Belichick era at home was the year that Kansas City knocked out Brady for the entire year in Game 1 back in 2008, 2009. Well, Pittsburgh came in and just kicked the crap out.
That was 2008. Pittsburgh went into New England and their defense that year didn't allow a 100-yard rusher or a 300-yard passer.
Yeah.
I know Tennessee had a very good defense. Baltimore had a very good defense that year, but Pittsburgh's defense was it was the top in the league. I mean, no other defense could say that no other team could say that. And that's one of the reasons they made it to the Super Bowl. But
Pittsburgh's one of those teams too, you know, they just hang around, no one's looking, bang, they're in the Super Bowl. Can't count out Pittsburgh either. But I think, let's face it, the Bengals, they can't win in the playoffs, but last year wasn't their fault. They had no receivers left.
Yep.
Andy Dalton was throwing scrubs, and people at the said, well, the owner of program number, report to the sideline, you are the starting wide receiver. They had nobody in that game against the Colts. You're a Tennessee fan, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, it was the Colts. I was going to say Tennessee, but no, not yet. So I think the Bengals are going to win some games this year in the Super Bowl. They might be the team that's gone the longest without winning a playoff game. I know Buffalo hasn't been in the playoffs in the longest time, but I think the Bengals and Detroit are the 2 teams that haven't won since '91 a playoff game.
Yep, it's been a very long time for those 2 teams. I just got a message from Christopher. He said he can't join, but he can watch, and he is asking where it can be streamed to, and I am unsure how to go about that. Do you know? You might have more experience with these than I do.
I've tried streaming these things, and I just can't seem to get it done. Is it on your channel? Maybe streaming on your channel?
Let me check that actually. Let me go to my YouTube account real quick. I think it might be. When I tried to figure this out and set it up with my buddy Bill yesterday, I think it was. I just have to wait for my computer to actually process this because it's not the best Wi-Fi, but let me go to my channel real quick. Because you would think it would be live streaming on my channel, you know? How do you think your Vikings are going to do this year?
They're going to do awesome.
Yeah.
They're going to, you know, everyone's saying, well, they didn't beat a playoff team last year. Well, they beat Carolina, who, they didn't beat a team that was more than 500. Look, they had a rookie quarterback. Their offensive line was almost 3 of the 5 were either hurt or gone. Peterson was gone. The tight end was gone. They're all back. Now we've lost Loadholt, the right tackle, but He's the weak link, I think. He's a big mauler, especially in the run game, but not a very good pass protector. Teddy Bridgewater is. I cannot believe he fell into our. I simply.
My father was mad that the Browns didn't take Teddy. He would have loved Teddy.
Had the Browns just taken, what would they pick? They picked at like 13th and 22nd. They could have picked Odell Beckham Jr. and touchdown Teddy instead of that scrub that they picked. Cornerback was like, and he was a good pick. It's just he's doing nothing. He's falling further and further behind. And then Manziel. I mean, talk about wasting draft picks.
Yeah. You know, one thing though that I know you're a Vikings fan, so Aaron Rodgers, obviously you have something against him, but one thing I like about Aaron Rodgers that I think a lot of players need to show on draft day, composure. He sat there when he was dropping with his suit and tie, all nice, with a smile on his face and his arms folded at his side until he was picked.
Oh yeah,
and that's something. I mean, I respect Aaron Rodgers for a lot of reasons, and that's a big one.
Yeah, no, Rodgers is. I only hate him because he's on Green Bay. I don't even hate him. I don't even hate Green Bay. I don't hate teams. I love the Vikings. I really like the Lions. The Bears and the Packers are fine. I mean, but I don't hate anybody. But I just really like the Vikings. And Rodgers is easily the best quarterback in the world, and that's just what he is.
He is. I don't really have anything against the teams in my division. I mean, it's not like the NFC East where these teams go toe-to-toe and everyone hates each other. I mean, there's Indianapolis. When Rob Baronis got in that car crash, Poetic may know this as well, but their long snapper, their punter, their kicker, their entire kicking crew wore shirts in honor of Rob Baronis when they were playing Tennessee. They, aside from, I think it's Jim Irsay, they're a very classy organization, and I respect them so much. I love Chuck Pagano. I really do. Hell of a coach.
Speaking of the Colts, I think Mikey is just...
Yep. We have a new visitor. Speak of the devil. Is he around?
Sometimes Mikey talks off camera, so...
Okay.
Where's Gavin? Wasn't Gavin really big on coming into this?
Yeah, he was. He said he messaged me on. He commented on the set. He said he would join in about an hour. I have nothing really going on tonight. I could stay up for hours if I really wanted to. I mean, I have time. I don't work tomorrow until 11. I can sleep. I can go to bed at 4 in the morning if I really wanted to, but I don't know if we all share that same luxury. Oh, I see an arm. He's there. Hello, Poetic.
With the talking to you. What's up, guys?
Hey,
what's up, boys?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
We were just talking about how bad your Colts are this year.
Yeah, you're going to be 0-16, god awful.
Oh, he's already left it. No, there he is.
Andrew Luck's going to throw 46 interceptions next year, I guarantee it.
And 47 touchdowns.
Every pick he throws, he makes up for a touchdown pass. We'll give him that.
Circle one game on the calendar, though, that the Colts are going to lose, okay? I'm going to already go out on a limb and predict that they are going to lose that game in Houston. Okay?
In Houston.
They're gonna. They are the only team, since the team has gone to a 32-team league and has this 8-division system now. They're the only team that has swept their division back to back. No other team, not even Green Bay, New England never did that when they were, going 60-0. They never swept the division. Well, I don't think they can do it 3 years in a row. Obviously, Jacksonville and Tennessee are young teams right now, but
yep.
That's one you might want to circle on your calendar.
I agree with Gio 100%. For a team to sweep their division for years in a row, they're bound to slip up at some point. And what better team for it to happen to than the second best team in the division, the Houston Texans in Houston? I mean, that makes sense. It really does. Will it happen? We don't know. The Colts are good. Their offense is revamped, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I got the Colts going 11-5 this year. I had a prediction video about that like a month or two ago. I said we were going to lose to the Texans. This was before Foster got injured. We're going to lose to New England Patriots week 6. We're going to lose to the Steelers at Pittsburgh. We're going to definitely lose to the Miami Dolphins. And we're going to lose to Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning will get revenge on us.
Hatbox looks like he's chatting with us right here. And Steven. Look at that. We got the whole crew. Well, almost. A lot of major participators, I would say. I mean, I feel like we have 70 members, but there are really only 10 to 15 people who really participate on a daily basis.
Yep.
That's going to go up, though, as soon as the football season hits.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
As soon as the NFL, as the real week 1 starts.
So Christopher says Texans 11-5, Colts 13-3.
Those were predictions he made were back in June, though, so the Texans are probably not going to be winning 11 games now.
Titans 5-11. I can see that. Jags. I don't think the Jags are going to win one game.
Oh, he's got the Jags just as bad as my Vikings.
1-15 for Minnesota.
My Vikings to go. I'm trying to think which. Maybe the home game against the Bears. He has his getting swept back to Halfman's Lions, and you know the Lions will probably beat us in Detroit, but they won't sweep us back to back. As a matter of fact, Minnesota's record against Detroit in the last 15 years is like 25-4 or something like that.
Yeah.
This past year, we'll win that game. We'll win the one in Oakland. We'll win in Week 1 in San Francisco. We'll probably beat Green Bay in one of the games. We might even sweep the Bears. But 1-15 Hatbox.
Christopher just mentioned, he said, I got killed for the Vikings. Yeah. I stuck up for him because I thought Tennessee was going to be very good last year, and I thought that opinion was warranted after their beating of Kansas City in Week 1. And I was very enthusiastic for how the season would go, and everything just took a crap on us. So I can see his point of view now because I've been humbled from that.
Somebody made a video on the Titans, and my comment was, with the first overall pick in the 2015 draft, the Tennessee Titans pick ... And I got lambasted.
No, I stuck up for it because I thought Tennessee was going to be very good last year, and I thought that opinion was warranted after their beating of Kansas City in Week 1. And I was very enthusiastic for how the season would go. And wait a sec.
There we go.
Everything just took a crap on us. So I can see his point of view now because I've been humbled from that. What's going on?
You're on twice, you know, on the Titans. And my comment was, with the first overall pick in the 2005. I think Half Moon might be on, and he's on a delay. Like everything else about the Lions, they're delayed.
I stuck up for it because I thought Tennessee was going to be very good last year, and I thought that opinion was warranted after their It's repeating itself. Yeah, I was very enthusiastic for how the season would go, and what's going on? Just took a crap on us.
Moon, I think your computers are delayed behind you.
Because I've been humbled from that. What's going on?
You're on twice, you know, on Titans. And my comment was,
See how they approach Bryce.
Are we good?
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, I had to put the headset on.
I got
was
sick
"Man,
of
I
hearing
can't hear
myself.
Yeah, I can't hear a thing. Yeah, it's on the YouTube, and I said,
My voice is
set
that
that on this
annoying.
camera. I'm at work, so.
Okay, there you go. You're working this late at night?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see my. I don't know. Could you see where I work? That's
Oh,
the,
look at that.
can you see that's downtown Clearwater?
There you go.
Can you see
Upstate New
that?
York over here.
New York.
Going back to college in about a week, boys.
Yeah, 14 years of college. I'm done.
There you go.
I can barely spell.
Got a message from Chris. He said 9 dislikes on that video, 9 sad Vikings fans.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, I work like 4 jobs, so you know I'm a workaholic more or less.
McDonald's is enough for me.
Yeah. I do forensics during the day. I do database at night, and I do odd jobs for radio stations and TV shows. I got the NFL Network
Lucky.
job coming up next month. Yeah, thanks to my YouTube channel.
Nice gig there, Moon.
Yeah, it's the Sports Plus package. You'll be on the NFL Network at the start. The first show is at the end of this month.
So you know what I found out?
Yes.
I found out that the timing on this is impeccable because it's Google Hangout right here. This is actually my 100th YouTube video.
Cool.
I mean, that's,
I gotta see my ugly mug on there.
yeah, unfortunately.
You'll probably get a lot of dislikes for this video.
I don't think I can. The Geo has the killer comebacks, man. They just crack me up.
I'm working my way up there. It's taking a while, but I'll get up there.
Yeah.
I watched Gino. He's now on the SBR forum.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That's pretty cool.
He's talking about the Jets. I think we lost some people.
Oh, wait, we lost Poetic.
Yeah.
No.
I think his mom had to order a pizza.
Yeah. And that goes back to another hangout.
There's one more dislike.
One time, him and his mother were just on the screen for like 20 minutes. They were just staring into the camera. It looked like they were talking, but
yeah. And she's,
hey, hold her. Are you ordering a pizza with your mother?
Then he comes back. He finally comes back on and says, "Yeah, just to get the pizza."
we should get to football though.
Yep, I agree.
Moon, your Lions are going to win this week in.
Yeah, we should go 4-0 in the preseason. We're just so strong in depth, you know. When you said you were gonna pick the Jets with the spread, I was like, ugh. I mean, we got 5th rounders trying to make the team that were 1st round players a year ago on another team or so. You know, it's like, and wide receiver core is just, and running back core, we got like 5
your
or 6.
running back core looks really good, I have to admit. What's his name, Abdullah something?
Yeah, Abdullah Amir.
Yeah, nice first.
Yeah. And that was against the 1st string Jets too. So you know, I was like, yeah. And the Lions' first core only played 5 downs and scored easily touchdown with 5 plays, and then they just sat all 1st string out. So it looked very impressive. Yeah, our 2nd string, even Orlowski, which I can't stand, he did a great job. Our 3rd string.
I do have to say that the Lions, they have the pieces. I mean, they have a franchise quarterback. They have really good wide receivers. I mean, anytime you have Calvin Johnson you're throwing to, I mean, you got a running back almost committee. You got some good running backs down there. The defense was much improved a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin
Johnson's healthy.
They need to put it together. They need to come together, and that's probably something you've known for a while, but you're just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, this new coach is definitely doing that, and we're not taking any people with any attitudes. They went through the draft and met everybody, and anybody who had an attitude, they just didn't draft them. So they're like, who are the Lions going to draft? And no one knew because no one knew the attitude of these players.
Yeah.
So and that's what they based off. Also, the biggest factor right now is Martha Ford. Because her husband died last year and he never got to go to a Super Bowl. So it's her determination and will to make this happen for her and her husband, her deceased husband. And she does not talk to the press at all. So she won't say that. She'll never say nothing to the press. She's never spoken to the press at all. But she's the head of the Detroit Lions now, and that's her determination. And you can see it. It's going to happen. So I expect a big year this year. And I don't see any flaws either unless – so if other teams double team Calvin Johnson, it's going to leave somebody open. Golden Tate, Abdul, Amir now, and it's like just so many weapons, We're stacked everywhere. Tight end, that's another one. So, I expect big things. NFL.com wrote an article said that Lions will be a big sleeper and give Packers a run for their money this year. So
Well, we'll see what happens.
yeah,
We have requests to move on about who we think the strongest teams in the AFC and the NFC are. I mean, this is an obvious answer. Tennessee is obviously the strongest team in the NFL.
Tennessee.
We're not hiding smell, are we?
I can't even take myself seriously. I can't even. Oh my goodness.
Did you notice that interception then fumble?
Well, I do have to say, in his defense, there's one. It's one thing if you make the wrong read when you're throwing the ball downfield. I think the defenders were making very good plays on the ball and very good reads. I mean, Atlanta's got Dan Quinn down there now, and it's showing. That strip fumble, that was a very good play by the defender. He should have stepped up in the pocket a little more, but he'll learn that over time. He was in Oregon for the longest time.
Marcus Mariota.
Yep, that screen pass, you only have one option to throw. You have two options: either throw it to your running back, throw the ball away. You can't look at your second and third reads in a screen pass. And with our offensive line as bad as it has been, they're all looking at each other. And I'm not a believer in Bishop Sankey. I want David Cobb in there, but we'll see what happens. But that interception, yes, it was his fault, but it's not like it was like Brandon Whedon throwing interceptions. I mean, it was a small minor mistake that was bound to happen at some point, and I'm interested to see what he'll do in game.
Yeah, Wilson did the same thing down here in Tampa. Same exact thing, a lot of chat forums I noticed were like, "Oh, I'm glad we didn't go Mariota," but then when Tampa played their game, not a single person said anything.
Yeah, but that was against Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's gonna look bad.
9 for 19.
Yeah.
I'm it's only one game, but I'm licking my chops right now at that matchup against Tampa in Week 1.
All the NFC North is undefeated in preseason.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
I have Tampa Bay winning that game against Tennessee because, yes, two rookie quarterbacks. Yeah, but you know what? At least Winston's at home, and Tampa's a better team right now.
Yeah, they are. They have a receiving core. They have an offensive line. They have a solid defense.
So yeah, you think they have a good offensive line? I think that the Tampa's offensive line is.
Ali Marpat went to college 15 miles from where I live, if that. I've met the guy. Oh, he is a beast.
They got some holes on the offensive line. The defensive line, it's even worse. Man, they just rag. Even the sports announcers down here in Tampa just rag on how bad the Bucs are.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I do like is that we have Dick LeBeau on our coaching spot, and he doesn't lose to rookie quarterbacks. That's one thing that's, that, and I think Marcus Mariota is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston. But just those two factors alone don't mean you're going to win the game, especially considering it's in Tampa. There's a whole team.
Tennessee?
Yes.
Yeah, is he still there? Yeah, and then you got Metzenberger versus second string. Man, I wouldn't bet on that game. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not touching that game. Nope. No way in hell am I touching that game.
No way.
Take the under, guys. Just like there won't be a lot of points scored. The defense aren't good enough to make defensive or special teams touchdowns. So this game might be like 0-0.
Glennon versus Metzenberger.
Glennon's not. That guy didn't get a chance. You know, they brought in Tampa Bay, idiots that they were. They probably were one of the teams that spent the most money in the offseason going into 2014.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in the quarterback from Chicago, a bunch of other they overpaid for a bunch of scrubs. Because you overpay for that's what happened. They end up being the first to pick in the draft. That's what happens when you try to buy talent. They got rid of most of those guys, but they still have McCoy. What's that wide receiver that they picked up last year?
He was good.
Or is that the guy in Buffalo? Well, anyways, you know the guy I mean.
Sammy Watkins?
Yeah, I know that Watkins is on Buffalo.
Yeah.
Manziel's old wide receiver from Texas A&M. Well, that guy. And there's a lot of other talent on Tampa Bay. I think they're a little bit ahead of Tennessee. And the Titans will be on the road. Hard for a rookie quarterback to win his first game on the road. Yeah. So I'll give the edge to Tampa Bay. I think it's a 3-point spread. I think that's fair.
I do as well.
Yeah, it's Jackson.
We have our first 2 games on the road. I'm going to go see the second game. I'm going to Cleveland with my father and my 2 brothers who are all Browns fans, and I'm going to see that Browns-Titans game.
Oh.
Man, the Browns fans ain't no joke, man. That dog pound. I grew up over there.
Crew, man.
Oh man.
Don't wear your colors there.
I remember. You ever remember? I don't know if you remember, Gio. The was it the Bottle Bowl when they threw all the beer bottles out in the playoffs?
Yep.
I remember the coach
the refs.
At the end of the game, the coach berating the fans. Oh, come on. It's all what are you doing giving plastic bottles like that of beer? You're not asking for it.
No, and the refs made a bad call, and that was it, man. That dog pound. Oh, man. Had to call the game.
That is funny. I wasn't alive. I don't think I was alive for that, but I've seen stuff on it.
Yeah,
I'm a young man.
Jacksonville's first or second year, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
I don't even know how long they've been around. I still think of them as a new team.
All right. So who do we think the best teams in the AFC are right now?
I'm liking Kansas City as a real dark horse. They lost the Poe. What's that guy's name? The big run stuffer. But they have Barry back. He missed all of last year. This is a team that won 10 in a row 2 years ago. Remember, mind you, there was a little bunch of scrub quarterbacks. But now that they've upgraded their wide receiver, they had the worst wide receiving core in the world last year. These guys couldn't get separation at all.
0 TDs.
Jamal Charles. Charles
is a monster. He's the running back. Charles is a monster.
He is.
No, I like that team a lot.
I just have to say the Colts because of the division they're in. There's, 6 easy wins right there.
I wouldn't really say Houston would be an easy win, though. Houston's going to be a tricky team this year. I mean, they went 9-7 last year with scrub quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just goes to show that they're a team that they're like Buffalo in the sense they can have a winning record with average, if not poor, quarterback play.
But everybody, what's that? Hard Knocks. That's what they're on. Hard Knocks, aren't they? The Texans. People watch too much TV. Because last year, everybody thought the Falcons were going to be the bomb because they're on Hard Knocks. So just watch too much TV, man. That's all that is. I have to say Colts just because of the schedule, and I look at their whole schedule. They had like 3 hard games. It's like really. So they could easily go 13-3. Yeah.
What are their hard games? What division? We're playing the NFC South, so that's okay.
Not hard.
That's the
yeah. So New England, they play New England. They play all the division winners. They play New England, they play Pittsburgh, and they play Denver. Those are their hard games.
Yep, that's it too. NFC South, man, it looked pretty bad.
I have the Saints winning that division. I'm going out on a limb. I can't see Drew Brees being held back 2 years in a row.
It was top targets in Seattle now.
It is. I know it's a risky pick, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be Carolina.
I do. I think it's going to be Carolina.
You do?
Just because of the defense, I'm thinking that's the only thing I'd pick Carolina for. Halfway decent defense.
It is a very good defense. Kuechly in the middle is probably the best middle linebacker in the league. Don't forget, Cam Newton last year started the season with that bum foot. Like I don't even know if he played.
No receivers.
He didn't play the first game of the season last year.
Okay, he didn't play the second. They had all 6 of their wide receivers were new. Kelvin Benjamin, who's now gone for the year, was a rookie, and the other 5 were like not there. So there was no chemistry with those guys. The offensive line, one guy retired, another guy, I don't know what happened. Lots of holes. By the time they patched everything up, don't forget these guys went on a nice little 4-game in a row win streak at the end, and they won a playoff game. So that's a good team.
They won a playoff game against
Arizona,
a 4th-string quarterback. So that's the thing. If Arizona was at full strength in that game, I don't think it would have been a contest.
Well, that's why Arizona is my other. Well, after Green Bay is my dark horse team. Not dark horse. My second favorite team to. I think the championship game is going to be Arizona Green Bay.
That's exactly what I have. I have Arizona Green Bay in the championship game. I have Denver Indianapolis in the AFC championship game.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's Kansas City Cincinnati.
Ooh. That's a
Kansas City.
That's a hell of a pick right there. 2 teams that haven't won jack shit in 40,000 years.
Yeah.
I like it.
Kansas City, I think Denver's going to take a step down. I know Billy B from the Team Take'em channel is going to hate that, and a couple of the other guys. But this is the first year in the Peyton Manning era that they haven't gone out and got another good player. They actually had to shed players.
Yep.
And, so they're not going to be as good. In a new coaching regime, that's usually not conducive to winning. I think they take a step back. San Diego are who they are. They're going to tease you, maybe win, go on a 5-game winning streak once or twice, and then just lose. And then Oakland, Kansas City, I'm telling you, they're going to sneak in right under the radar.
They can. I've thought about that myself. Kansas City can easily sneak up and surprise some people. I mean, for a team that didn't have a single catch for touchdown catch by a wide receiver, if I were to ask you, if I were to tell you that stat and then tell you to predict what record that other team had, you would say 3-4 wins. They won 9 games last year.
Kansas City was 9-7, right?
Yep, they were 9-7.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel beat the Chargers in the final game.
They're a sneaky team. I'm telling you, they're the quarterback. What's his name there?
Smith?
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
They're always convincing, saying that he's just a dink and dunk passer, but he, like I said, he has had no wide receivers the last couple of years, and now he's got the other guy from Philadelphia, Macklin.
Jamie Macklin.
And he's a huge upgrade.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Philadelphia was thinking getting rid of him, but. Oh, and we to bring back the NFC South a little bit, Christopher said it's going to be Atlanta, no way without Kelvin Benjamin. And then Poetic says, Falcons are like my laptop. Mediocre, but it will do. I think you can make a case for any of those 3 teams that isn't Tampa to really win the division. I mean, they all are mediocre, no matter how you slice it.
Arizona, I just can't put faith in them. The quarterback. He's taped together, and he's been around the block. Long in the tooth. He had injuries last year as second string. Man, it's just they're having some problems with some of their players too.
Their second string quarterback has shown though that he can get it done. He can.
Right.
He's done it.
Yeah.
That's one thing they have going for them is they're deep. I mean, especially after last year, some of their players that haven't been playing for a while, they get experience in these NFL games. Maybe they lose these games, but they get experience, and that's a huge thing. That makes your team deeper.
I think the Rams. You know, that's my sleeper this year. Rams. I was gonna pick the Jets too, and the AFC is a sleeper, but not anymore. Not with the problems they're having. But the Rams still my NFC North sleeper. They give Seattle a good run for the money and beat them too. So, and they're good on defense as well as Seattle. You ever notice their games are like 10-6, or sometimes it's just really low scoring. And you know, if they just go over the top and beat some of the other teams, you know, last year, like for instance, Rams would just dominate in Dallas. Remember that? But then
Yeah.
they just fall short at the end of the game, you know, where they just, you know, they get if they can
And this
just
is
stop
all
that
with
from happening.
Austin Davis as well. That was with
Yeah,
Austin
yeah,
Davis.
yeah.
And they have Nick
Yeah.
Foles now.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen Lions quarterbacks or coaches just sit on a 6-point lead, you know, and it's like, come on, stop that. You know, 3 and out, just wasting the ball, wasting time. But yeah, I think the Rams, they picked up some good players, and I think they have a good shot at it, you know. So, you know,
Yeah.
especially with that Sam Bradford trade, you know, I mean, they got rid of him, so I mean, and so they got a halfway decent quarterback now,
Yeah.
and a great who's that they drafted
Gurley?
running back? Yeah,
Gurley.
Gurley, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I'm thinking, you know, if he does pretty good, and they grabbed 2 Lions defensive um, uh, linemen as well. So I think a lot of people are going to the Rams that look pretty good, and they might do
They do
well.
look good. They look good.
So you know, I think they're going to give Seattle a run for the money, and then Arizona, and obviously San Francisco dead.
I really, you know what? Seattle is playing their week 1 at home against, rather, the Rams are playing at home against Seattle, right? And they could win that game. They might catch Seattle looking ahead to their game in Lambeau Field against the Packers.
Yeah.
That's a really good bet. I think it's sitting at 3.5 right now. You can take that on a money line bet. That'll pay you a nice little chunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even game day. Who's gonna? It might even that line might go up because you know who's gonna bet for the Rams.
I'll be right back. I have to go grab my laptop charger. I'll be like 2 seconds. Watch this chair.
That's one thing I don't do is laptops. I mean, I got one next to my bed. I watch movies on. You know, that's about it.
I have a tablet for that now. I just recently got it, but I hate laptops.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was watching the YouTube on my tablet.
In my usual spot.
Yeah. So San Francisco, yeah, one of their players got knocked for PEDs again yesterday. But one thing I liked on San Francisco is that who's that running back they got from Australia, rugby? Man, he looked good, didn't he? He was just throwing players left and right, just trying to tackle them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
They're like he's still playing rugby, you know.
Yeah, right.
All those pads and stuff, so he'll grab you and throw you away, and just keep on running.
Hot topic right now on the chat. Everyone's talking about Philadelphia and how people think they're gonna do.
No, not with Sam Bradford, and then you know Sanchez and Sanchez.
Christopher has them losing only to Atlanta, Dallas, Arizona, and the Giants. So he has them beating teams like Patriots.
The Lions, obviously, on Thanksgiving. Nah, that's not gonna happen. In Ford Field, yeah, someone pass him a blunt.
I think the Eagles will win the division, but I think it's going to be ugly. I'm talking 9-7 will win that division. I don't know what's telling me that. I just think that with the changes that Cowboys and the Eagles have respectfully made to each other, for the most part, it's going to translate a little bit, and it's going to level out, and they're going to be a lot more even within the division. And the Giants are going to have a very good receiving core now, with Victor Cruz back in the lineup, with Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, Odell
and
Beckham
those
Jr.
three teams are just going to be within 2 games of each other. And I think it's going to go Giants 7-9, Cowboys 8-8, Eagles 9-7.
Yeah, I like the Giants too. I mean, Eli Manning's asking for more money, but other than that, I think he's calmed down in his game, but the receiving core is just looking too good.
Yeah.
So it'll be pass happy. And
That's a
so,
week one game in Dallas. The Giants are playing the Cowboys, and I believe the over is about 50. Take the over because if Dallas is able to run the ball with whichever running back is going to be running that day, or I guess they have a committee, the Giants have a hard time stopping the run, but the Cowboys' secondary is not very good. And so each team, their strength is the other team's defense is their weakness. So this thing will probably go, I'm not kidding, guys, 45-44. So
I can see that.
In my video, that's going to make my one of my picks.
yeah.
Well, it could change depending on what leads up to that game, obviously. But right now, in this moment, that pick does make sense. Like if the Cowboys and Eagles both turn out to be crappy, low-scoring teams, then I'm not going to say 45-44. But I don't think that's going to happen. These are two high-powered offenses.
Yeah, I think the only team
The Giants.
the Eagles are going to be
Oh,
above
the Giants. Okay.
Redskins. That's about it.
Well, the Eagles. Moon, you must remember Nicky Scarfo. Who Nicky Scarfo is? Does that name ring a bell?
Sounds Cunningham.
He used to run the mob in Philadelphia. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nicky Scarfo was very famous for whacking his crew, like real loyal guys. He would whack them for no reason, and I haven't seen since Chip Kelly took over. He reminds me of Scarfo, the way he whacks his own freaking guys.
Oh yeah. He's trades him. He don't like him. He's gone.
How many guys he's gotten rid of?
I know. And I think he tries to play like a chess move, like I'm going to grab Sam Bradford and maybe give him to Tennessee and hope to get Mariota. You know what I mean? That kind of mentality. But that didn't work out too well. So now he's stuck with Sam Bradford.
One thing I do have to say that kind of aggravated me about this whole Winston versus Mariota crap was that he doesn't throw an interception in training camp for 13 training camps. And then he finally throws an interception on a blown screen pass, and everyone's talking crap. A lot of people are talking crap about Mariota. It's like, oh, he finally threw an interception, and they're banging him down. And then Winston goes 9 for 19, and Lovie Smith's like, oh, it's just a typical Winston day, and everyone just brushes it off. It's like there's more people expect more from Mariota than they do for Winston. When Winston is the one that has the receiving core and the offense and the running back, and Mariota doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
People are ripping on Mariota for throwing in interceptions. It's bound to happen at some point.
Well, I look at it this way. When was the last time a rookie went to a playoff? Well, Andrew Luck. Didn't he go playoff first year?
He did. I think the last rookie to win playoff. Mark Sanchez won 2 games as a rookie. Joe Flacco won 2 games as a rookie. In 2010, Cam Newton was drafted. 2011? He didn't. The Panthers went 6-10 that year.
Mm-hmm.
Roethlisberger might have won.
Russell Wilson beat the Redskins. That's the last time that happened.
Good old Google. This will tell me. Last QB to win.
I think it was Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell. No, he lost to San Francisco his first year, didn't he?
Russell and the Seahawks were the 5 seed. They played the 4-seeded Redskins.
Joe Flacco and Tim Tebow.
That's what it says. I don't know.
Love Tebow, man. I don't care. You put me down in the Tebow camp. I just love Tebow.
Tebow, he won a playoff game, remember?
When everyone is out, when all of the, I like him as a person. When everyone is out partying, when all his players are out partying, what's he doing? He's going somewhere helping the homeless. I mean, that's the kind of character he is.
He was signing Bibles there in Philadelphia.
Yep.
He was down in the Philippines. I think he's actually born in the Philippines, right? Because his parents are
missionaries.
Mercenaries?
yeah. Missionaries.
Missionaries. That's I always get those two confused for some reason. But, that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, you watch him. If you never believed in miracles, remember that year with Denver? All
Oh
you
my
had to do
goodness.
was watch the last 2 minutes of those Denver games, and you'd say, "I now believe in miracles."
I remember they were playing the Bears, and I see they're down 10-0 with like a minute 30 left, and I'm thinking to myself, he's already come back like 4 or 5 times in his games. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna do it. There's a minute 30 left. He's down 10-0. And we're at my grandmother's house watching the game, and it's about an 8-minute ride home, and we're not listening to the game on the radio because it wasn't broadcast on the radio. I get home, I turn on the TV, it's 13-10 Denver. They just won. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is this kid?
You know, there was only one way they could have won that game too, is if the Chicago running back ran out of bounds.
Yup.
For some mysterious reason, he ran out of bounds.
Yeah.
I
I didn't think Tebow was a great quarterback. I mean, he horrible passes, run when he had to. But at the end of the game, you're like,
He did
I've
it.
seen him against the Chiefs.
You guys are right-handed.
For the fourth quarter.
You guys are
Yeah.
both right-handed, right? Right-handed?
Ambidextrous.
Are you really ambidextrous?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
Try throwing a football with your left hand. Okay, as a right-handed person, that's almost like what Tebow does. It's like Tebow shooting a right-handed guy, but he's throwing it with his left hand.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually practiced throwing football with my left hand. I could get a good spiral, but it's not really that pretty.
I go power with my right hand. I can throw it equally, but I go more power with the right hand.
I'm
I
a
can
West
throw it
Coast.
longer.
I'm a West Coast passer anytime I play. I don't have the arm strength to sling it down the field, but I'm very accurate with short routes. I'll almost always hit whoever. Like if we're playing a backyard football game with like 11 on 11, I'll always hit my wide receiver in stride for the most part.
Yeah, I think the last time I played, I was in my late 20s. It about killed me.
Smelled absorbing junior on me for 3 weeks last time I played. They want us to talk about fantasy football in the chat room.
They do.
You guys are playing in the Prognosticators League.
Yeah, was it August 2nd, 3rd? When was the draft? I forget what day that was.
I'm glad I'll be able to do the draft because all my classes are right in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I could do late nights just fine, so I'll be there for the draft easily. As for who I'm playing, I'm not sure. Let me look at that.
I'm going to draft Bridgewater first round and then sit him on the bench the whole season.
That's good for you.
You might
What a
really drive Gio crazy. Drive you so crazy. And then he has a game where he has like 4 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions, and he's on the bench.
No.
Listen, is who's doing our is it Yahoo Sports or ESPN?
ESPN.
ESPN, yep.
Why can't I get on the fantasy? I don't even know who's playing. I Bridgewater was playing the guy that we no longer say his name. Was kicked out.
I'm on there right now. I'm on the website right now. I'm just going to the schedule real quick.
You see my logo? I got the Lions logo on there.
There you go. I have the Titans jersey.
Oh,
right.
You live in Tennessee, or?
I don't. I live in upstate New York, of all places.
And you're a Tennessee fan. How does that happen?
There's a very good reason behind it, actually. It's kind of boring and kind of cheesy, but it certainly makes sense. And I tell people the story, and the first reaction is like, "Wow." I mean, I could tell you guys if you really want me to, but
is it short and sweet?
not really. I try to make it short and sweet, but
we don't want to bore the guys watching.
yeah, right. I mean,
all 2
is already
viewers.
boring enough.
How many viewers we got?
1.
1.
No, there's more than that in the chat room.
Oh, yep, there is more in the chat room. Where is the schedule under the ESPN league? Do I just click a name and it tells me my schedule? Oh, there it is. I found it. Who am I playing week 1? I'm playing Masked Tweeter. Masked
Yeah,
Tweeter show.
I noticed the division. I got the hardest prognosticators in my division, and everybody else in the other division is like, not
Who's in
so
your
hot.
division?
Let me go in there.
Christopher Carter just said, "It's me." You like the laugh there, Chris? What is in what's my division though?
Let's see, I got Geo, I got Hatbox, Bridgewater, I got you, Keith, and I got the Mass Tweeter. All my
That's
divisions. Let's go on the other division. Mole Mears, yeah, it was like 2 and 100 last year.
I think they beat me. Don't.
There's another dislike. Well, they got Poetic, they got Gavin. Who's Southern Bounty Hunters?
Poetic, he picks the Colts every week,
Anthony.
so that's Southern Bounty Hunters. I don't even know who that is. Gavin, then
Poetic.
Robert's Sports Show. I don't know if I'm familiar with him.
Oh,
Billy B.
that's a cousin, brother-in-law of the St. Louis Rams fans. Funny duo.
Yeah. Well, I look at our division. It's gonna be tough. And I look at the South there. Yeah, I'd rather be swapped over with Robert Sports Show. I'll be good. I should go to the Super Bowl.
He's a big NASCAR guy. Big Daddy J Productions. You know that channel? He's their brother-in-law.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I watch them.
Oh wow. No kidding.
So I was just looking the level of competition there.
I was I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this to you guys, but the last league I was in, it was like literally cutthroat kind of league. I mean, we had quitters when they started their season 1 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
They traded their best players to 2 of the division leaders, and that made me have to play dirty. I was 1 and 4 myself, but I didn't quit. I finished 8 and 6, 1 spot away from the playoff.
Oh, really?
I had to really weasel some people to get to 8 and 6. I'm talking. I got people to throw games to me if they weren't doing anything. I made deals with people to get players if I got in the playoffs. I was very sneaky and I was very un-Keith like, because normally I don't play cutthroat like that, but with these teams being so stacked, I had to.
Did you see about that one league that the player with the least amount of wins has to get a tattoo? Yeah, you see that? And of the winner's choice, I think one guy picked My Little Pony for a tattoo. Oh my goodness!
Oh no, I play Hatback. I play you in week 1.
Who?
I play Steven. That's funny.
Well, that should be easy.
And Keith, you play Mass Tweeter.
Yep.
Not
Did
the
you say
best
Mass Tweeter?
Yeah. You know the Mass Tweeter, don't you know?
Yeah, I do. It just sounded like you said masked wiener.
Oh no. No, Mass Tweeter is a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, I can see that. He's a good guy. I'm looking forward to the league.
Schedule at?
Pardon me?
Where's the schedule at? Where do you see that?
There's a little
go to scoreboard.
link.
All right. Oh, okay.
I do have to say we're in quite a division.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who mixed that up.
Yeah, like
All randomized.
Hatbox made it up. He's got all the scrubs on one side.
Yeah, I know.
And all the heavy hitters together.
How many more dislikes is that? 5? Especially Poetic on the other side. Poetic, you're scrubbed now. I'm sorry.
I analyze some players, but not as good as some people do. I analyze spreads better than I do.
I mean, I do this for because we're all We all do the same. But I don't spend any time on this. I spend hours and hours on my videos researching them. Not that it helps, but
man, you don't know with the NFL. It's just you just flip a coin sometimes.
no, I'm telling you, every year, well, the last couple of years, I've been talked out of by my brother and a couple of my close friends of playing heavily in week one. Oh, no one knows what's going to happen. No, I study this. And week one is the week that I have the advantage. I'm telling you, I've got week one down pat. I know who's going to win and who's going to, I have a 14-game parlay, for God's sake.
Wow.
It pays like $99,000.
Well,
Christopher's upset about that. Christopher's upset about that Scrubs comment. He said, randomly generated divisions, you guys will lose your one viewer.
Well, he's in our division, so we didn't call
is he?
him. Yeah, I think so.
Oh. I thought it was in the division or something.
I don't even know half the other division.
Yeah,
I know everybody in our
Hat
division.
boxes with you and I and JR of Bridgewater's Finest. And,
okay.
And Matt
Yeah,
Sweeter.
Bridgewater's, he's good.
He's guaranteeing stuff now. He's Joe Namathing it. He says, I don't care who I face in the Fantasy League Championship, but my team will be in there.
Yeah, Poetic is just like the Colts in their division, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and everyone else is Tennessee.
Yeah.
6 wins for us. 6 wins, no more, no less. That's what I see. And I will be happy with that.
I will be surprised if you get 6 wins, to tell you the truth.
You'll be surprised?
What's that? Oh, in our division? Yeah, it's going to be a rough one.
No, the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, no. Titans, no.
You know what is the biggest disappointment about Tennessee the last couple of years has been the offensive line.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, they brought in Levitri, I think he came from Buffalo.
Yep.
And flopped. And Munchak was your head coach for a while, right? Wasn't he an offensive...
Yeah, he was an offensive
Famer.
mind, offensive coach.
Right, and the offensive line coach is another Hall of Fame player. And these two guys, I mean, I don't know. Your O-line was pathetic. Not pathetic, but really underachieved.
Nah, it was pathetic.
Yeah.
The coach turned down the job in Detroit to go to Tennessee. Why? I don't know.
No, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do have to say
Lesser of
that.
two evils, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not complaining at all.
Hey, you guys could have Schwartz and Millen
Yeah.
running things.
Detroit always has something to do with Tennessee because Jim Schwartz you got from Tennessee, and your current coach, what's his name? Jim Caldwell. Tennessee was interested in Jim Caldwell. We gave you Stephen Tulloch. We gave you a lot of our players. You know what I think is Tennessee 2.0 though? The St. Louis Rams. Jeff Fisher. They had Cortland Finnegan for a little while. They have a tight end that we had. I'm surprised I forgot his name, but he hasn't been with us for a while. I mean, they're like ex-Tennessee players.
Oh yeah, no one sticks around in Tennessee. It seems like they don't stay there for long.
It all went wrong for us once we signed Randy Moss. We were 5-3 that season. We go out, we get Randy Moss. We've been crap ever since.
Yep, I agree.
He was a curse. I mean, we were 5-2, just finished putting a whooping on the Philadelphia Eagles at home, 37-19, and it just all fell apart from there. Won one of our next 9 games.
Yeah, it was they lost. They won the Super Bowl against the Rams, didn't they?
Lost it.
Oh, that was the yard of inches by inches. Yeah, he lost.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
What year was that? Early
1999. And that year and play are burned in my mind.
Yeah, that was the last time I seen a good Tennessee team.
Yeah.
About 15 years.
Well, 2008 we had a very good season. I mean, with Kerry Collins, our backup quarterback, going
Kerry
13-3.
Collins, I mean, those are two words that should be stricken from the English language. I swear to God, this guy here has taken more money, off of me, taken more food off of my table than anybody. I mean, I could not get this guy right. once. I
Oh.
bet against him he was freaking superstar. I bet against him, I bet for him and he was a bum.
Hold on, I got
That's
a phone call.
Blackjaw Yokel, man. He caused me nightmares. If you look at the
That's
guy,
funny.
he looks like he's right out of the trailer park, man.
He does. He really does.
But yeah, he had you guys going 10-0. And one, I finally bailed on them, and I think he lost 2 in a row. I mean, I wouldn't bet on him. I wouldn't bet on him. That
We were
one-
10-0. We lost to the Jets 34-17, 10-1. Year after that, I'm sorry, Steven. We stomped you guys pretty bad, 47-10 in Detroit, 11-1, and then we beat the Browns 28-9 to go to 12-1. We lost to Houston 13-12 to go to 12-2. We beat the Steelers 38-17 to go to 13-2, and then we lost to Indianapolis 27-0 to go to 13-2. And I'm not reading that off the screen.
That's a good memory.
Autistic. Gotta love it.
Are you autistic?
I am.
My nephew is autistic.
Oh wow.
He can.
I have Asperger's, and it's very mild, so I
Uh-huh.
like to use it to my advantage.
Yeah, he's a hockey fan, and for our
He
team,
knows everything about it, doesn't he?
oh my God, he tells you like who won the game on December 13th, and then he'll tell you who scored at what time, who got the assist, and then you look it up and he's right. Awesome.
I like that quality about myself, but I mean, I'm not. It's like the angel's curse because I have my issues, but you know what? I just like to use it to my advantage. But enough about that. We're here to talk football.
Yes.
How dare they ask me to work while I'm at work? I don't understand it. Who do they think they're talking to?
You got a nice job, Moon, if you're able to chat with us on a Google Hangout.
Yeah,
If I'm all caught up and everything's what everybody wants, and then I'm free to do whatever I want.
There you
So
go.
it's not a bad deal.
No shame in that.
Yeah, man. I'm good.
I think we should go through each division. I think we should go through each division and talk about teams real quick.
I can go through a couple of divisions. I don't have too much time left.
Okay.
Let's go through our 2 divisions. Keith, we'll start with yours. Obviously, the adults are going to win.
Yeah, that's no question. Colts will win that division.
Yeah, second place is up in the air.
Well,
Houston and Tennessee will get.
It's got to be Houston.
I think it'll be Houston.
But
I think it'll be Houston.
I thought last year was going to do it, but they
the problem with the Colts is that they were absolutely robbed by Cleveland for that first round draft pick where they dumped Trent Richardson on them and they stole their draft pick. So they didn't have it last year. And then this year, I guess T.Y. Hilton threatened to walk at the end of the contract, so they drafted a guy just like him. And this was like last year. This was a pretty deep draft for wide receivers, and they didn't have to do that with a first round pick. You got Andrew Luck. The 3 of us could be the wide receivers, and he'd find us 10 times each. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need run stuffers, guys who could plug up the middle, because
that
is
was very confusing for me. They should have gone run stopper in round 1. I'm still baffled as to why they didn't go for a run stopper in round 1. They have all the receivers they need. I mean, you just got finished getting demolished by New England for the 6th, 7th time in a row because they won't stop running the ball on you, and you still don't draft a run stopper. So once week 5 comes around and they're playing the Patriots, I guarantee you the Patriots will have at least 150 yards rushing yet again on New England.
And the guy they should have drafted actually was drafted by the Patriots, a defensive tackle that seemed to slip a little bit. He was their guy, and they shouldn't have pulled the trigger. And that's going to be the knock on them until they only won the Super Bowl the one year when they had remember Sanders, that safety.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Not Barry Sanders. That lunatic safety that used to throw himself into every gap. And
Sanders?
Bob Sanders, yeah. Bob Sanders, I think he was even NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He was a monster that year. That's the one year they stopped the run. That's the one year they won the Super Bowl. Before and since, they haven't been able to stop the run, and that's going to be their Achilles heel. But they're going to win the division.
Oh yeah, I mean, Poetic, you don't have to worry. Colts are going back to the playoffs. I mean,
they're 6-0 last
Tennessee.
year.
I think Tennessee will get third place. It'll be a battle for last with Tennessee, Jacksonville, but I think Tennessee will climb out of last place. I think Jacksonville's going to be in last place.
Jacksonville has no luck. Their first round got injured on the first day of practice.
Nate bitten like you wouldn't believe.
He hadn't even drank his coffee, and he was already gone for the year.
He probably got injured drinking his coffee.
Very few teams have had that much bad luck. I mean, Justin Blockman gone for like a year and a half so far. Blaine Gabbert was a complete bust. I don't think they should have taken Blake Bortles right away. They could have traded down, still picked up Bortles, and picked up another draft pick. And that's things that Jacksonville doesn't do very well. You know, drafting correctly.
Well, they got that new owner last year. The guy with the mustache. I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's pretty.
I know. He's thinking money.
The guy with the mustache.
We'll put the cabanas in, and we'll make it look all nice. What about the team? Yeah, they'll still play, but, we'll make this place look really greatest stadium ever, so people will come to our attraction. Maybe put in a mall. What about the team? Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Houston, although I do think they're going to win that home game against the Colts. If you look at who they beat last year, it was teams like Washington, Jacksonville twice, Tennessee twice, and a couple of other scrubs. They had one pretty good win against a decent team. I don't know if it was Pittsburgh or something along the lines. One decent win, but their other 8 wins were.
Yeah, but they got a second round.
They beat the Bills.
They got to play second.
That's one of their higher echelon wins. They beat the Bills, and that's not even that really high of the ceiling. I mean, the Houston's. I think Tennessee. I don't think Houston's going to go 5-1 in the division. I honestly think Tennessee will take 1 of 2 games against Houston, 1 or 2 games against Jacksonville. I think Tennessee goes 2-4 in the division. I could see that.
That's fair. I could see that. Division games are tough to win.
You can never really predict. I never touch, if I don't really bet on games, but if I were to, I honestly would not touch divisional rivalries. You want to bet on home dogs in the division home dogs. That's one of the best bets you can make. Usually dogs cover a little bit more than the favorites anyways, but the division dogs, that's the highest one. Another game, you make a mental note. Interconference games, the favorites usually win and cover. There's no hatred. You see these guys once every 4 years. You don't hate that team like you do in your own conference or in your own division. So there's something that just keep in mind. I've been putting money on games, and I've been betting on games for a long time. And you start to make mental notes. Yeah, Moon's laughing at me.
Anything could happen.
No, generally you don't want to generalize, but you start to see trends eventually.
Oh yeah, and who's Detroit in Green Bay. You already know what's gonna happen. There's those streaks. That the teams have over other teams. For some odd
every streak's bound to come to an end at some point, though. That's the way I see it. It's just a matter of when.
Well, Detroit's lost Arizona last 3 times, so I think Detroit will beat in Arizona this year. Like that streak. Because they played in the desert the last 3 times, so this year they're coming to Detroit, and we got whale on. So expect that.
Let's talk about the NFC North now. Let's talk about the NFC North. Green Bay's winning the division. I think that's pretty. Barely.
It will be by a long shot. A lot of people say, "Hey, they're just going to run away with it like the Colts." That ain't going to happen.
I think Minnesota and Detroit will give them a run for them. Chicago, we already know they're in 4th place, so let's save the talk for them.
Yeah,
we're talking about the 3 teams that actually have a shot here.
Yeah. I think Minnesota. I think they'll do better this year. But it's the second year Bridgewater,
I have him in the second round of the playoffs.
He's still not a veteran yet. He's still got to, learn the process, and he's going to still make mistakes that's going to cost games,
I in my predictions video, I said that, like I said I think the Saints will win the division. I have Minnesota in as the 6th seed, traveling to play the Saints as the 3 seed. I think the Vikings go 9-7 in the 6th seed, and I think they beat them. I think the Vikings make it to the divisional round. They're my surprise team of the year. There's always that one team, and I think it's Minnesota this year. Detroit will be one game behind them, but I don't think it'll be enough for Detroit to get into the playoffs. I think Detroit goes 8-8.
I really wish the Lions were able to keep both Fairley and Sue. I mean, losing Sue, okay, a lot of money, and I can understand, but they should have kept Fairley, at least for some depth. Fairley is a very good player, and it seems like everyone picked on Detroit's defensive line to steal from them over the last year, and it's too bad. You know, I think the Lions were about to put something pretty good together. You know?
Christopher's trying to join us right now. He's asking how to join. Or no, not Christopher, Gavin.
Yeah, he's got to click the link.
Yeah, I would just click the link, and I think you just sign up. Just kind of join it that way. It may or may not. I don't know if it's not working for him or what, but
that's all I did. I just clicked the link. What did you do, Moon? Moon, you're muted. Oh,
is he frozen?
I think he's making that call. What's that website that if you're married and you want to cheat? The one that just got busted?
I'm not sure.
It's in the news today. Like, it's got 40 million people who want to cheat on their spouses. Go in there, log on, and find. Okay, I think that's what Moon might be doing. I'm sure that's not what he's doing.
He's being quiet about it.
No, but I respect Moon's Detroit Lions, but I think my Vikings are better this year.
I think so as well.
You know, you mentioned Randy Moss earlier. If you go back, here are some guys who have dropped into Minnesota's lap. Randy Moss was considered like a real explosive player, and he had issues at Notre Dame, and they kicked him out, right? And he went to Marshall, I believe, and that he was actually the wide receiver with Chad Pennington, and great player, lots of issues. He falls to Minnesota. Then Adrian Peterson, maybe shoulder injury, work concerns. He falls to Minnesota, like at number 7. Percy Harvin, same thing. He had issues coming out of high school. He was a bit of a prima donna. He falls to us. We get a couple of good years out of him. Trade him for a 1st and a 5th, I think, something like that. And then Teddy Bridgewater, like the consensus number 1 overall pick. Well, maybe some people had Clowney, like going into the pre-draft stuff, into the combines, and he has a bad pro day, and he falls to Minnesota. Cannot believe it. I can't believe the Vikings luck sometimes, and yet we still suck. We still can't win a Super Bowl. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, not much really can do. I am trying to find a way to invite Gavin. He said the link doesn't work, so invite him by email. I don't know if I can, if I'm already in it. Yeah, I'm not sure how to. I go to edit event, and it doesn't tell me to invite people. Do you know how?
Yeah, like there is an invite button, right?
I'm not seeing one. I mean, hang on a sec. Oh wait, hang on. Yep, I see it. It's right freaking in front of me.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin. OC 44. Oh, not OV, OC. At gmail.com. All right, there we go. I got him. Invite. Okay. Invitation posted. We have 2 viewers now. Yay! We're popular. Now wait for. Oh, my back.
I know you don't like the Bears at all, talking about them, but I truly think that they might be right down there with Jacksonville this year. I mean,
You really think that?
Oh yeah, like this is a team that you probably want to be betting heavily against, and I guess Fox has come in and he's taken over, and he's a defensive-minded guy, which is good. Trestman came in there and he had good as the offensive guru. He had some good luck the first year, but that offense took a step backward last year, and their defense sucks. So
Yeah.
You might want to bet heavily against the Bears this year. I recognize Gavin's crown.
Yep. Is Stefan back in too?
Yeah, I'm just getting in here. Yeah, I had to use my video. Someone coming in on video chat. I'm like, oh crap. So it took a second. So it was like really
There
easy.
we go. He's alive. Yay.
I do a lot of database, so they'll say, hey, how did you label this number and this device? And so I was okay, I guess I wasn't clear enough in the case. So Bears are gonna be horrific this year. They got their defense is just gonna be horrible. I mean, I don't see anything.
What happened with that defense, man?
Yeah, I mean, last year's defense was worse, and then this year they got who they pick up? They picked up someone that's been in the league like 5 years and like 4 teams. And they're putting him on the first string. I forgot his name. Yeah, there's like no way. Even Cutler, if he has a great game, you know, they might pull off a win here and there. But I see him. They'll probably end up benching him. But as far as the Vikings go, the Vikings, you know, I think just because, you know I like Adrian Peterson. He's a great back, you know, and see how well he does after being off for a year. But that being said, their wide receiving core is mediocre. Bridgewater, you know, second year, he still's got a lot to learn. Being a playoff caliber team, not quite yet, you know, maybe another year or two if they pick up some good wide receivers. Defense is pretty good, but you know, to beat Detroit and Green Bay out of a playoff spot, I don't see that happening. You know.
My thing is, I feel like Minnesota isn't necessarily playoff ready either, but there are always a team every year, like every other year or so, that isn't playoff ready, but they still find a way to get in anyways. One example I think would be Cincinnati. The first year they had their players. The first year they had I'm blanking on this name, Andy Dalton, and the first year they had AJ Green. I think that was a premature playoff appearance. I think they were about a year or two behind, but they still managed to make the playoffs. And I think that happens with Minnesota.
We have that.
If that makes sense.
Remember, Zimmer was the defensive coordinator for those Bengals teams, and he's now our defensive coordinator. Now, I just think that if you take away your very best player, a guy like, I'm not talking about just the punter. I mean, the running back. They took away our best guy. Well, now he's back. You know, our quarterback is going to be that much better. Now with Moon, they lost their best defender. So it's. Yeah, I'm just saying, we got ours back and you lost yours, which is too bad because we both want to keep Green Bay out of the playoffs, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been beating them at home the last 2 years, but in Green Bay is a different story.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to win. For anyone who's watching, a very good bet would be all of Green Bay's home games. Just take Green Bay straight up. You could probably include Week 1. They're in Chicago. They're going to win that game. So there's about 10 games that you could take. Just call it the Green Bay bet and put all your money. And just bet. And some weeks it won't pay you as much if you're taking them straight up, but you know it's money. You know?
Yeah.
And,
I think they only lost one home game, didn't they, against Buffalo?
Last year I don't think they lost any.
I Everybody's trying to catch me before I leave. Hold on a second.
They lost a couple of years ago when Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone against Chicago. I think it was a Monday night game or a Sunday night game, and they lost a couple that year. Well, I guess Flynn was the quarterback.
Yeah.
And but if you look back at since Rodgers has been the starting quarterback, oh my God, they've lost maybe 2 other games at home. And since Rodgers has been the starting quarterback, these guys are invincible at Lambeau, and that's guaranteed money. If you had $1 million, put it on Green Bay to win at home, and just do it. You know?
Yep, it's that simple.
You remember that one year that Green Bay went 15-1, and they didn't even win the Super Bowl? You remember?
They lost to the Giants, 38-20.
No, in the playoffs. But who do you remember who they lost to in the regular season?
They lost to Kansas City, 23-7 or 23-15.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a big upset.
That was a big upset. Kansas City wasn't even good that year. I think they won 3
They were.
games.
Green Bay was what was Green Bay's record at the time? They were 13-0. Kansas City was 5-8. Kansas City was 5-8 when they played.
Okay. And despite having a really bad record, Kansas City had, I believe, 6 or 7 Pro Bowlers that year, and they've always had a core of Pro Bowlers, and this is why they're going to sneak in under the radar. Getting back to Kansas City again, but
before Favre and before Aaron Rodgers, what was Green Bay? A horrible team.
Sure.
Yeah, they battle of the Bays, NFC Central. You know what I mean? And there's the 2 worst games. I remember watching a game. It was like 6-9. I mean, they were just a horrible team, and they just get lucky on these last 2 quarterbacks. Right? And after they're gone, they're back to scrub again. When Aaron Rodgers goes out, Tolzien, is that this backup quarterback? He stinks really bad. I mean,
unless they get lucky again.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm waiting for. They'll pick up the next Andrew Luck or something.
Yeah, right. I hope we picked up the next Andrew Luck. I'll tell you that much. I love Mariota. I hope it pans out for us.
Detroit's got a good second stringer. You gotta watch out for him. He's been sitting on that bench for about 3-4 years now. And
Detroit's always, for the last 5 or 6 years, have had maybe the deepest quarterbacking.
Yeah, I know. Our second stringer that we with the Rams, he started for the Rams last year, and then now he's who's he playing for this year? He started out in Seattle. Hill. Hill.
I think Minnesota drafted him, didn't they?
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota now. So he's back up to Bridgewater.
He's back up to and you guys had Moore? You guys had a guy named Moore?
Yeah, Kellen Moore.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I remember about 4 years ago, Stafford got hurt, and you were down to the 3rd guy, and he played really well, and I think they lost but covered. They covered. Yeah. And I lost money because of them.
Yeah, that was against Tennessee, I think. When they threw the Hail Mary in the end zone, they came back and won it, and then threw a Hail Mary in the end zone in Tennessee.
That was a good game. I do have to say, not just because we won, but that was a very good game.
Yeah, that was a backup.
And I'm watching it with my father, and I'm just thinking to myself, all right, Tennessee, don't pull Tennessee. And my father's like, they're fine. They're up 14 points. They have the ball at like the 50. And I'm like, no, Dad, I know how Tennessee plays. They're going to blow it. And then literally 5 seconds later, there's the Hail Mary that's completed. I looked at my father, and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
That wasn't with Slackjaw, was it? Who was the quarterback for Tennessee in that game?
That was Jake Locker.
Jake Locker.
Yeah, Jake Locker was the quarterback.
John Hill that threw that.
He had a very good game.
I feel bad for Locker. That year when Cam Newton was drafted overall, first overall, I think Tennessee took Locker with 8, and then Jacksonville took Gabbert at 10, and then we took Ponder at 12. Out of those 3, Locker was the best. It's just he couldn't stay on the field.
I feel bad for him. I mean, I really liked Locker, and I think if he were to stay healthy, if he were healthy, I'll tell you right now, Tennessee goes to the playoffs 2 years ago when they were 7-9 and they were a game out, about a game, 2 games out of the playoffs. If Jake Locker was healthy that entire season, I think they'd go to the playoffs because we had Ryan Fitzpatrick for the last half of the season.
Yeah, I like Locker. He's a good scrambling running quarterback.
Yep.
So now you've got Mariota number 1, you've got Mettenberger number 2. Please tell me anyone but Charlie Whitehurst is your third string. I mean, if there's anyone who needed to be brought behind the woodshed and have a couple of caps put into his ass, that's Charlie.
I don't even know the name.
Oh, my God. Clipboard Jesus, they call him, right?
Yep. That's all he was doing in San Diego.
Oh, my God. Is San Diego traded for him, or they traded him and got a good trade for him, too? Who picked him up?
He picked him up. I think San Diego picked him up either in free agency or in a trade from Seattle because he was quarterbacking Seattle during that final game, Seattle versus St. Louis for the division title when Seattle went 7-9. Charlie Whitehurst was the quarterback that made it happen, I think.
He's kind of like Flynn from. I think he's bouncing around the league now. I think the Patriots just cut him. He had one good game against the Lions.
Who, Matt Flynn?
Matt Flynn, and just parlayed that into multiple contracts. Amazing.
I don't think it was against the Lions. I think Matt Flynn was with Green Bay. I thought it was a Sunday or Monday night game against New England.
No, it was a Week 17 against the Packers.
Oh, against the Lions. Yep, Lions-Packers. That was a very good game for him, but he also had a very good game against New England that same year. Played very well against New England earlier that year as well.
All right, fellas, I got to roll.
Yeah, me too, actually.
All right. Yeah, I should probably get out too.
I can sit and I can chat all day if I was at home.
Poor Gavin is saying stay there. I'll be there in 5.
You want to hang around, but Gavin has done that a couple of times, so. I gotta fly. It's late.
Yeah, it is.
We'll do this again.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, Gavin, buddy.
I'll
We don't all live in Arizona.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next Google
All
Hangout.
right, adios. Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye-bye.